Question 1. A jewelry artisan has determined that her revenue Y each day at a craft fair is at most negative 0.5x squared plus 30x, where x represents the number of necklaces she sells every day. To make a profit, her revenue must be greater than her costs, 2x plus 150. So this section is a system of equations and inequalities. So I know I'm going to have to set up one of them. And I know it's an inequality because of these words here. At most. At most doesn't mean equal to. It means if you make at most $100 in a day, that means you've made $100 or less. So my first inequality I'm going to write is I'm going to write it from this first sentence where it says the revenue, Y, is at most this expression. So that means Y has to be less than or equal to negative 0.5 x squared plus 30x. My second inequality comes from the next sentence. To make a profit, her revenue must be greater than her costs. Again, revenue is represented by Y. So this is saying Y has to be greater than 2x plus 150. So there's our two inequalities. Let's get down to the question. The question says we want to figure out if the point 30, 230 is a viable solution, both viable and non-viable, a non-viable, and not a solution. So that means for this to be a solution, it has to make both inequalities true. So that means we're going to replace x with, everywhere we see an x, we're going to replace it with 30 in both these inequalities, and we're going to replace y with 230. So let's take this top inequality. We're going to replace the y with 230. And then here we're going to replace x with positive 30. But I'm going to use the calculator to help me out here. So I'm going to type in negative 0.5. Everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with the parenthesis 230. Close the parenthesis. Notice the square goes on the outside of the parenthesis. We only want to square the x value, and that would make a difference if there was a negative sign in front of the 230. Plus 30, parenthesis. Oh, and I just realized I put in the wrong number for x. This shouldn't be 230. This should be just 30 because we're replacing x here in the parentheses. So everywhere you see an x, replace it with 30, and we end up getting 450. Is that inequality true? Is 230 less than or equal to 450? Yes. If it wasn't true, we could stop there. It wouldn't be a viable solution. Okay, the next one, again, we're going to take 230 and replace y with 230. This one I don't need the calculator. I'm going to replace x with 30. And then do the math. 2 times 30 is 60. Plus 150 is 210. Is this true? Is 230 greater than 210? Yes. So that means the first point is a viable solution. Let's check the second point. The second point is 10, 300. So this is where x is 10 and y is 300. So I'm going to replace y with 300. And just like the last time, I'm going to use the calculator. A little trick if you have a graphing calculator is you hit second enter, and it will recall that problem, and I can just type over the 30 and replace it with a 10. Hit enter, we get 250. Is this true? Is 300 less than or equal to 250? And of course, that answer is no. So that means 10,300, we don't even need to check the other one, is not a solution.